Smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You're listening to 1050 ESPN, your home for New York Islanders hockey. WEPN, New York, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
On SportsCenter all night. Brittney Griner is back on U.S. soil.
The fact that she was an athlete meant that she may have a better sense of day-to-day control of herself. It could make it a little bit easier for her as she tries to adjust.
Croatia advances in a stunner against Brazil in the World Cup.
A really huge disappointment, a big frustration for the Brazilian people because everybody in Brazil really thought that Brazil could win this World Cup.
It's all but over in the hunt for the Heisman.
It's a wrap. It's all Caleb Williams right now. He is a monster favorite. They've already started engraving his name on the trophy.
Plus, we take you up and down the court with the NBA.
Top Randall, wide open three-pointer. It's good. Julius Randle with the triple as Brunson sucks everybody in.
This is SportsCenter all night.
Zeemily for cheer. It's Friday. That wasn't quite enough tequila.
That's what I'm talking about. Turn up, Zach.
Here's Jim Basquiat.
All right, it's the eve of the Heisman Trophy and Brittney Griner's first day back in America. Welcome to SportsCenter all night on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Plenty ahead in the show, but we lead it off with the association. Best of the West in the Big Easy. The Suns and Pelicans, separated by a half game for the top spot in the Western Conference, got together in New Orleans on a night that showcased Zion Williamson.
Shot clock off. You're up 9. This baby's over. Paul, no foul. Z weaves through. Lay it, missed it. Rebound, Nance. Throw it up the floor, Zion. This will be showtime. 360. Left hand punch. Take that. That's a dunk contest dunk. Chris Paul takes exception. The horn is sounded. Willie Green is being physically restrained. McCollum saying, get back in your locker room. Buckle up for Sunday, folks. Buckle up.
As ESPN New Orleans with those final calls, Zion Williamson capped the season-high 35-point game with a 360 one-handed throwdown in the final ticks that upset Phoenix players. The Pelicans beat the Suns 128-117 in a matchup of the top two teams in the West. Players and coaches from both squads swarmed around one another angrily as officials stepped in to separate both sides. They walked off with no fisticuffs, Williamson gesturing to the roaring fans before disappearing down the tunnel. Zion and his coach, Willie Green, postgame.
That was a little out of character for me, but you got to understand. I mean, you can understand it or not. They sent my teammates home last year. I missed all last year. I got carried away a little bit. I admit that. But, I was in that locker room when my brothers were down because, the Suns sent us home last year. That's a tough moment to be a part of. So, in that moment, I got carried away. I admit that. I was out of character for me. So, if they was to do the same thing, I wouldn't have no problem with it.
Just part of the game, just a little brush up, nothing major. Guys out there competing, both teams. It came down to the wire. Both teams played hard, competed, played our styles, and it just comes down to competing and making it about the game. We have to keep our composure at the end of games, but it's just a part of basketball.
Was there anything in particular that upset you that you could share with us?
Nope, nothing upsetted me. I'm excited about the win. I'm excited about us taking care of home court. Like I said, those guys over there are my brothers, Mont, Chris, everybody. We compete, though. Like when the game starts, in between those lines, we're going to compete. And with our guys, the same thing.
And the Suns lost for the fourth time in 5 games, falling a game and a half back of New Orleans. Those two teams will match up again in short order. How about this one? Giannis and Luka on display in Big D.
Once again with George Hill, the top of the arc. Feeds to Giannis. Giannis right of the lane. Spins inside as he corkscrews down. Lays it in. Are they going to give him the bucket? They are. Count the bucket with a foul.
Yeah, Giannis, who got off to a slow start in this one, as heard on WTMJ with that call, finished with 28 points, topped by Luka.
Luka to Hardaway, back to Luka. Holiday right there with him. Hardaway trying to set a screen. Lots of traffic out by half court. Luka to his right. Kleber the screen. Keeps the triple now against Lopez. 5 to shoot. And 4 and 3. And crosses over. Got by into the rim. Lays it in to put the Mavericks in front. 105, 104, 30 seconds left.
That was 97-1, the Eagle. That gave the Mavs the top side of the scoreboard, courtesy of Doncic, but this game was won by neither of those stars.
Hill will inbound. Lobs it in. It's Lopez underneath the defense. They lost track of him. He lays it in with 7.8 seconds to go.
And that your game winner, Brook Lopez, the bucket, 106-105. Milwaukee rallies. They outscored the Mavs 33-21 in the fourth quarter to get this impressive road W. It's Giannis postgame.
Great foul. You know, I mean to foul out, but at the end of the day, you got to play basketball. You got to compete. You know, try to block the shot, and went to the free throw line, missed 3 of them. So at the end of the day, you know, the basketball guys repair you if you try to play hard. But just seeing the team still competing, still making plays down the stretch, still getting stopped, it was amazing.
And no question, the team won it down the stretch without their big fella who had fouled out. There were more stars on display in Philly.
Here comes Harden to Embiid. Joel against Davis. Double comes over in the form of Westbrook. Joel shoots it and scores it. Davis was right there in textbook defensive form, but did not contest the jumper enough. Joel pours it in from 17 straight away.
97-5, the Fanatic. Embiid had 38 with a dozen boards. DeAnthony Melton, the career-high 33 off the bench. Sixers recovered after blowing a 9-point lead in the final 30 seconds of regulation to beat the Lakers in overtime, 133-122. Anthony Davis had 31 points and 12 boards himself, but missed a free throw at the end of regulation, which would have given L.A. the lead. Russ had a triple-double in the loss. It was Embiid post-game with our Monica McNutt.
Joel, so many places to start. The end of regulation, you guys avoid disaster. But tell me about the character of this team that was able to get it done in overtime.
We should have never been in that position in the first place. That's what we've been talking about all season long. We got to be better. We got to be locked in for 48 minutes. That wasn't enough, so we just got to be better. But I'm glad we responded in overtime and we ended up winning.
You put up 38, 12 rebounds on 14 of 19. What was the message that you were trying to send? Because you came out early, locked in.
I was trying to send the message to my teammates. We haven't been as good as we're supposed to be. Obviously, we have a lot of injuries, but it's time to go. So you setting the tone offensively and defensively. Obviously, they got a great player in AD. Just try to attack him, try to put him in foul trouble, and that opened up everything.
Hey, tune into NBA action tonight as the defending champion Warriors host the Celtics. Yes, it is a rematch of the finals. Coverage begins right here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app at 8 Eastern.
In the shotgun, Bennett takes the snap, throws it over the middle. Big old touchdown! Simple as that. He just squeezed that ball with those two massive hands right in front of the uprights.
Competitive excellence, competitive toughness. He's a winner. Let's be honest. The guy wins. The guy knows how to play the game.
Duggan back to pass on second and forever. He's flushed out of the pocket left. He's to the 50, the 45 and the 40. Up the sideline, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, and he's pushed out of bounds. Max Duggan, if he can't find anybody open, he says, I'll take it myself.
He's the heartbeat of this team. When you think about the personality of what TCU is, it's Max Duggan.
Stroud in the gun with a snap, sets up at the 50 to pass. Pressure coming, arches it deep down the right side for Harrison. Caught at the 5 and into the end zone. Marvin Harrison, touchdown on a 42-yard pass play. He caught a strike from C.J. Stroud going down the right sideline. Stroud to Harrison again, money in the bank.
I've enjoyed every second of it. A lot of ups,
lot of downs, man, but I'm blessed to be a part of this fraternity and this brotherhood.
Williams in the pocket. Now looks to throw it out to the right side. It is caught at the 5-yard line, cutting it and diving into the end zone. Taj Washington. Caleb Williams takes it into the end zone. Touchdown. Caleb Williams, a 16-yard touchdown run. That is his third touchdown run of the game and might have just iced himself a Heisman Trophy.
It's a Heisman.
And it comes tonight, that Heisman Trophy. The 4 finalists, all quarterbacks. USC's Caleb Williams, Ohio State's C.J. Stroud, TCU's Max Duggan, and Georgia's Stetson Bennett. All three of the 4, I should say, set to play in the college football final playoff on New Year's Eve. It is the first all-quarterback group as finalists since 2018. Williams, the heavy favorite, ESPN betting insider Doug Kazarian.
He's a huge favorite still. He looks great. It's not like he was terrible and he was the reason they lost. In the past decade, we've seen some guys that are odds-on favorites going into the weekend. I think minus 1,000, and that did not win. I think that 1 year Tua was minus 1,000, and he did not win. So it's certainly possible. I would think Duggan changed the margin of defeat, and maybe even Stetson Bennett did a little bit too because they're undefeated. But I am not reading the tea leaves, so to speak, on social media that Caleb Williams has lost the Heisman.
Yeah, Williams has already won the AP Player of the Year, the Walter Camp Award, and the Maxwell as a Player and Quarterback of the Year. And he had this on his journey to this point.
I'd say us coming together how fast we did. And it's not that we added, 10 guys to the roster. We added, we removed a lot of friends of a bunch of guys that was already on the team. And we added a bunch of new brothers to this team, including myself. And it's like 50% of the roster are new guys. So how well we gelled, our culture that we built, and we're still building on, this brotherhood that we're fighting for, this unbreakable brotherhood that we're fighting for, is probably the most that the thing that I'm most proud of about this team and about myself being able to be a part of it and help lead and fight for it.
Yeah, keep this in mind in advance of the Heisman. Williams, the first USC player since Marcus Allen, the running back in 1981, to win the Maxwell, accounted for 47 touchdowns, throwing for nearly 4,100 yards, leading USC to an 11-2 season. This after the Trojans went 4-8 the previous campaign. ESPN presents the 88th Heisman Trophy tonight at 8 Eastern. Chris Fowler joined by reporters Holly Rowe and Marty Smith. Previous Heisman winners, Robert Griffin III, Desmond Howard, Tim Tebow, and Andre Ware also there to contribute. Ware on Williams being second to none.
He's a guy that picked up where he left off from 2021. Was outstanding at Oklahoma, finishing there. He goes to the same offense at USC, just doing it with a different cast of characters, so to speak. But he's dynamic. He can run outside the pocket, make plays, improvise there. He can beat you from in the pocket and passing the ball that way. He's just been outstanding this year, a complete season for Caleb Williams.
Yeah. This is a day we've worked toward for a long time. We never stopped pushing for her release.
Came together fairly quickly, it sounds like. This is what we expected would happen, that there really wouldn't be news until she was in the air.
This is the moment that we've all been praying for BG, and I'm just happy. Like, God is real.
After being detained in Russia for nearly 10 months, Brittany Griner is home. She was offered medical and counseling service upon her arrival following the exchange for a notorious arms dealer on Thursday. ESPN investigative reporter TJ Quinn summarizing what life was like for her while in prison.
I talked to her lawyer in Moscow at length yesterday, who said, not as bad as it could have been. It's hardly pleasant. It's a labor camp in Russia. I mean, it's freezing. They work you all day long. But she had someone who spoke English to kind of guide her through the rules. This is a work camp where the women essentially sew uniforms together all day. But Brittany Griner was too tall to sit at the bench, and her hands were too big to sew. So her job was carrying fabric around, which, all things considered, wasn't that bad. A lot of fans saw that video of her with her hair gone, wanted to know what happened. Her lawyer said that was entirely Brittany's decision, that it would freeze every time she did it. She thought she was in the long haul for a Russian winter and thought, I'm better off without it.
Yeah, that's tough to hear right there. Coming up next, more NBA on tap as the Nets need KD late to survive the Hawks, and Ja and the Grizz near the top of the West. That's next. This is SportsCenter All Night on ESPN Radio.